Well, when Australians think about property investing, most of us picture buying a house or apartment. But with recent tax changes flagged in the budget, experts say commercial property is becoming increasingly attractive. And it's not just offices and shop fronts drawing attention. Investors are also looking at industrial warehouses and even vacant land. So which type of property delivers the best returns? What are the risks? Nerida Conisbee is Ray White's chief economist as she joins us now. Nerida, why do you think investors are now broadening away from residential?
A lot of it has to do with the budget. So there were significant changes with regards particularly to negative gearing. It now has been banned on existing properties. Also some changes to capital gains tax. With commercial property, the capital gains tax rules remain, but you also can negatively gear. So I think as a result, people are looking a little beyond residential, and commercial property is one of those options.
So you've put together a little checklist for us, thank you for doing this, on what to consider before investing in commercial.
Yeah, look, there's a lot to consider. I think one of the first things is how complicated it is. It's much more complicated than residential property. So when you have a look at the lease terms, can be quite difficult. The tenants can be a lot different from a residential tenant. Also the price point. So the price points are a lot higher. It is quite difficult to find a commercial property under $1 million compared to, say, residential, where it is much more readily available. Financing as well. So the financing can be much more complicated. You do need to research very heavily before you consider it.
Yeah, so it's attractive because it can be negatively geared, but it is higher risk and it's all yield-based, isn't it? Rather than just capital growth.
Yeah, absolutely. So people, when they buy commercial property, they do tend to concentrate on yield. So as a result, if you do buy one, you may not get the capital growth that people tend to buy residential property for. You are relying on a yield, and the yield does need to be quite high to make it worthwhile. So if you have a look at the cost of finance, particularly now after 3 interest rate hikes, you do need to consider that the yield does need to be higher than what you're paying on the mortgage.
Do they run on a similar investment cycle to residential?
Definitely not. So industrial...
So that could be a good or a bad thing?
Well, it can be a good thing. I think, though, what has happened is that in the past, office was always seen as a very safe bet, but we saw a radical change in that when the pandemic hit and people started to work differently. Industrial has been one of the top performers, but at the moment, tenant demand is a bit weaker because small business growth is a lot weaker. Retail was bad because of online shopping, but now, because it has adjusted so much, is looking like a better buy. So there's a lot of structural changes you need to consider, which for residential is, basically population growth and housing supply are the two, fundamental drivers of it, and also interest rates.
So where do you think the best potential is over, say, a 5 or 10 year time frame?
Yeah, look, it probably is industrial. We know that industrial is being used for more things. So if you have a look at the amount of online shopping people are doing, we need more warehousing in outer suburbs. So you also need more last mile. So you need more localised industrial facilities. Also, when you have a look at the impact of population growth, you do need more things built, stored, all of those things which really favour industrial property.
Okay.
You really have to get good advice. I think with commercial, it's not as simple as buying residential. I think, we all live in a home, but with commercial, very few people have exposure to an industrial property. You may work in an office, but you may not understand the metrics behind investing in them.
Nerida, thanks for explaining it to us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.